Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I am in the back garden today. I have been working back here this week. Yesterday I was working back by the greenhouse. Got a lot of stuff cleaned up. It looks so much better, but I want to continue on with a couple days working in the back garden because it needs it. And today I am working right here, right in front of the office. So most of you probably know, but this is my office. This is actually one of the reasons why we purchased this home, because at my last house, my office was in my master walk-in closet, which was not a big closet. It was for editing, a place I did my editing. It was where I started my seeds. I had my seed starting shelves, and it's like where I would go when I had phone calls or Zoom meetings or something like that. So when we started looking for another property, when we found this property and it had this little tiny little shed thing in the back. Actually, the people who lived here before, they were actually renting out this little office, which I think is absolutely crazy because there's no bathroom in there. So whoever was living in there had to go inside to use the bathroom, but whatever, no judgment. But for when we saw it, we thought, oh my goodness, that would be so perfect for a little office for me so that I could get in there, get some peace and quiet and get some editing done and, you know, have meetings and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I like decorating in front of this office because it is kind of a blank white wall. You probably noticed one of my least favorite things about it, which is the door is off center. Oh, it bugs me so much, but I just have to let it go. If it was just over like 6 inches, it would be so much better. But it's just something that I absolutely have to let go. Last year, it ended up looking really good. I did a whole collection of pots on either side of the door, and I thought it looked so pretty. I planted almost exclusively supertunias in front of there because Proven Winners had some new supertunias that were coming out and I wanted to try them. So I really liked how last year ended up. However, I was talking to my friend Michael Glassman, who is a landscape designer, and he recommended going a little bit simpler, a little bit more streamlined, because he thought that the big collection of pots kind of drew your eye away from like the actual property, and you were just focused on like this big collection of pots, which I understand, I get. And so you can kind of see the remnants of my winter decoration that I had. I had a whole bunch of pots here with a whole bunch of evergreens. It looked really pretty as well, but I can kind of see what he's talking about it just kind of being a little messy, especially when we've been moving things around and fixing drip and, you know, taking one plant from the collection. It just looks like a mess right now. So anyway, we are changing it up, and I went and I purchased some stock tanks to put on either side of the door. So Jason's helping me out today. He's bringing the stock tanks over. These are just regular run-of-the-mill stock tanks that you can get at a big box store. And they're 4 feet long and 2 feet wide, also 2 feet tall. And I actually have 3 of these over on the other side of my property, and I really like planting them. I think that they're great. And Michael Glassman had this idea of doing 2 on either side. I asked him if it would be a problem with the door being off center, and he was basically told me to get over it. He basically was like, nobody's noticing the door. Just focus on the plants and having a nice, simple backdrop for the plants so that we could focus on the blooms. So we bought 2 of these, and then we bought a whole bunch of soil to fill it up, which is what we're going to do today. Here comes the second one. Thank you. So this one I already took the sticker off. This one I have to take the sticker off because this is the back of it. So what I did yesterday is I actually took my drill, and I had a really big metal drill bit, and I just drilled holes in the bottom of this for drainage holes, which is absolutely perfect. And then you can fill this with the hugelkultur method with putting, you know, logs and sticks and all that kind of stuff. We mostly have soil. I just ended up getting a bunch of soil from Home Depot, which is where these were delivered from. I ended up paying for delivery, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get soil. So I got that soil that I'm just going to fill them up. We might put some logs in here in the bottom, but you know, I kind of like filling it up completely with soil. At my last house when I did this, I ended up putting some rocks on the bottom just for drainage so that the holes wouldn't clog up. But these over here, these 3 stock tanks 2 of them were from my last house. I'm pretty sure it was these 2 here. And then this one I did in the method that I'm doing today, which is where I just drilled holes in the bottom. Then I filled the entire thing up with soil, and it's perfectly fine. So they're draining well, they're working really well, and I really like them here. I think it's really pretty, and it kind of goes with the style of my property. So I do think that it'll be really nice to have these other 2 stock tanks over here just to kind of repeat it a little bit. Okay, so what Jason and I are going to do right now is we're going to move all these other pots of topiaries. I have no idea where I'm going to put them. I will find another spot for them. We're going to move all of these, and then we'll set the stock tanks up, make sure they're nice and level, because this area isn't very level. I did have a couple people ask me why I don't just plant plants straight in the ground right here. This ground is absolutely terrible. There's like concrete in it. Over on this side, there's definitely like a couple feet of concrete coming out that way. And I think that there's broken concrete under here. It's just not good soil. It's just not worth it. So having something raised like these stock tanks is definitely the way to go. So Jason and I are going to set it all up and hopefully fill up the stock tanks with soil. And then I will show you what plants I got to put in them because they're good. I'm really excited about them. All right, we've got them set. We've got them all filled with soil. Sorry about the shadow line. The sun is just coming up over our house right now. So it's at the perfectly wrong spot to show you guys this right now, but it should be, sun should be up in like 20 minutes, I would say. So it's definitely a lot cleaner of a look. I can see what Michael was trying to tell me. I definitely like it. I'm excited to get it all filled up with plants. My idea is I just want to stuff them full of plants so that they're kind of just hanging over. I do have to take off the stickers. It's too cold right now to take off the stickers. They're just ripping. So I'm going to wait till the sun warms up the metal, and then that'll be so much easier to take off the stickers. And I do have residue over here that I would like to come with some Goo Gone to try and get that off, but I'm not going to be too particular about it. So let me show you the collection of plants that I got for these. I'm so excited about these, you guys, because this to me, this is summer. This is a summer collection, and like, I feel like you cannot go wrong with this. Okay, so first of all, for my thriller, in the back, I have these purple fountain grass right here. Now, these should not be blooming like this at this time. My purple fountain grass, they're just starting to come back. And so these were obviously grown in the greenhouse and forced to bloom like that. But I thought that they were so pretty at the garden center. I couldn't help myself. So I'm going to do one in each of them over there. It's going to be huge. It's going to be giant, but it's going to be so beautiful. And then when I switch things out for fall, it's going to be like perfect to have those purple fountain grasses right there. So I'm going to put those on, you know, in the back on either side. And then I'm going to surround it with this beautiful combination. First of all, I have the plain blue salvia. You all know this is one of my favorite plants. It's going to get up to 4 feet tall. So these bloom spikes are going to blend in with this purple fountain grass. So I think it's going to be really, really pretty. And then I did get some sunflowers. I was looking at Suncredible sunflowers, but I felt like the Suncredibles would be a little too tall. This is a different variety that I just found at the garden center. What was it called? Choco Sun Yellow, and it only gets 12 inches tall. So I thought that would be a really pretty step down from the plain blue salvia. I was talking to one of the people at the garden center, and I said, okay, is this going to bloom all season long, or is it just going to kind of bloom out? And she said, this main one will come. This is going to be the biggest one. And then once that's done, I'll have little ones like this for the rest of the season. So I just have to deadhead this main one right here. And then she said, I'll get blooms for the rest of the season at only 12 inches tall, which I thought was really cool. I've never tried this one before. I'm trying different sunflowers, like landscape sunflowers this year. I'm trying Sunfinity Yellow in my front garden. Not liking it as much as the Suncredible, but it's still early. We'll wait and see. But I definitely wanted to try this one, this Choco Sun Yellow, and see how that one does. And then finally, what I'm using as a kind of a spiller, I'm going to plant them kind of hanging over the edges, is of course Super Tunia Vista Bubblegum. You can't go wrong with it. It's going to be absolutely beautiful here. It's going to bring in that bright pop of color. It's going to be so gorgeous. I'm really excited about this combination. This has always been one of my favorite combinations of plants. I always tell beginner gardeners, like, if you want to start off with something really good, start off with the bubblegum, with the plain blue salvia, and then the Suncredible yellow sunflower, and you will not be disappointed. Oh, before I get started, I did want to explain why I have one of my bootstrap pots out here. So as I was saying, everything is kind of off center. The door is off center, and that bugs me so much, but there's nothing I could do about it because I'm not going to pay to move the door. So I was debating on whether I would take this stock tank and center it in this section, or whether I was going to center both of them around the door. And what I decided to do is center both of them around the door, and then we'll have a little extra space over here off to the right. What I have growing right here is a Crown Princess Margareta rose. And so my thought is as she grows up and kind of covers this area, that asymmetry of the foliage is going to kind of mask this little extra part of the office. So hopefully that will make it look a little bit more symmetrical and purposeful. Does that make sense? So that's my idea of centering the stock tanks around surrounding the door as opposed to surrounding this spot right here. However, the problem that I'm having is with this rose. I'm definitely very iffy about this rose. This is not like I said, this soil is really bad, and it's not a good spot to have planted a rose directly in the ground right here. Like, I just had my main cane that was like all the way up to here. It just up and died. Like, it's just, I don't know what's going on. It's just definitely not a good spot for it. I can tell. And so rather than, placing all my bets on this one rose to have foliage come up here, what I did is I grabbed my bootstrap pots that I've been growing my purple hyacinth beans in. Now, I'm really glad that I grew them in these 3-inch pots because they have been sitting for far too long in here underneath the grow lights. And you can see this guy is just, he's like wants to get out big time. So anyway, but it should bounce back. I'm going to plant it right here, kind of in the corner right there, and then hopefully grow the purple hyacinth bean up here to kind of take the place of the rose while I'm waiting to see if the rose is going to kind of survive in that spot. So purple hyacinth bean, if you're not familiar, is a really beautiful, quick-growing vining plant that has these gorgeous purple blooms on them. And then after the blooms are done, they turn into these little pods that are shiny and dark purple. Such a beautiful plant, and it should get up to about 12 feet tall by the end of the growing season. So I should be able to hook them on those eye hooks right there, and hopefully it'll take the place of the rose. And I mean, ultimately, I would be really happy for the rose to grow, but I'm just kind of iffy about it. So anyway, I'm going to plant that there, and that's why I'm only planting one of those over on that side to hopefully even out the asymmetry of the office. Okay, let's get planting. All planted. They look so good. You guys, I love this combination of flowers. I just think it is so pretty. It just speaks to me. So these guys are going to get so big, so full very, very soon, but I think it's going to look really, really pretty. And then hopefully the purple hyacinth bean over here will start growing. Really, hopefully the Crown Princess Margareta will start growing a little bit more, but you know, I'm not going to put all my hopes on that plant in that spot, basically. I did go and grab the floor mat, the doormat by my front door. I have to go buy another one for sure, but I think this looks really good. Yes, I still need to remove the stickers, but I'm waiting for them to heat up because I really think once it gets hot, or once the metal kind of warms up, it'll be that much easier to remove the stickers. So let me take you to the front garden and show you all what Jason's been working on while I was planting these up. So, are you done already?
All done.
Oh my gosh, that was so fast. It's like you're getting good at this now.
I'm learning.
You're learning. Okay, so while I was planting up the plants in the stock tanks, Jason was installing a retractable hose bracket right up here, which is so nice. You want to come out. I know. Hold on. There you go. Come on. So up here in our front patio area, we had a hose, and it was just in a pile. Wasn't it just gross and dirty?
Yeah, it was always kind of looks messy and...
Yeah, on the ground, and it would get filled with leaves and all that kind of stuff. So we knew we wanted to put another hose link up here. Hose link recently came out with a 100-foot retractable hose. Their longest size thus far has been 80 feet. And so now they have a 100-foot one, which is really exciting, which is this one right here. However, we don't need a 100-foot one for this spot.
Not here, because it just has to really reach this bed.
It really just has to go just kind of right here, maybe to that area a little bit, but you can see we have another hose link right there. And that one actually does reach over here, but we have another hose bib right here, so we might as well just use it. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to take this 100-foot one and we're going to go put it way over there in the orchard garden to another hose that we have that we're constantly stretching to the absolute end of its distance. So having an extra 20 feet will be fabulous. And then we'll take that 80-foot one and we'll put it right there. Did I explain that correctly?
That's the plan.
Okay, ready to go get the other one?
Yep.
Let's go. So you all think that Monty follows me around whenever I'm gardening. If Jason's out here, Monty is following Jason. 100%. Okay, so here's the hose we are going to replace. This one, we just find that we're constantly using it to the absolute end of where it is, what it can reach. And that is because we take this one over here into the willow tree garden bed. We take it over here into the center island. We kind of just pull it as far as we can. So again, having the extra 20 feet is going to make a huge difference and be very, very helpful. All right, so 100-footer is out here. One thing I will say is the 100-footer, the diameter of the hose is a little bit more narrow than the 80-footer, but it had to do that just so that it could reach a little bit longer. But as long as you're not using this as like, I don't know, when would you need a like really wide?
High volume? I don't know. We got to use this and see how much different the flow is.
Yeah.
I kind of think it won't matter that much.
Yeah, for our...
Because we're watering plants, you don't need like this huge high volume spray. We're usually just using a gentle shower anyway.
We're not using it as like a power washer or something like that. I don't know. Let's try it though.
I don't think it'll be a big deal.
Let's try it. All right, here is the water pressure from the 100-foot hose. So I can tell it's definitely a little bit less pressure just because of the smaller diameter of the hose. Less water volume is coming out, but I think it's going to be perfectly fine for our needs, which are literally just watering plants. But if you needed something with a little bit stronger pressure, then just know that the 100-foot one has less pressure than the 80-foot one, simply because it is a narrower hose. I hope that makes sense. And there's no nozzle or anything on this. This is just completely open.
Yeah. I mean, it's weaker, but if you're going to water plants,
it's fine. Yeah.
Yep.
So just so you all know all the information, but we're happy with the 100 feet because really we need to water these plants over here sometimes. So if y'all are looking for more water pressure across a longer distance, I think your best bet is probably to go to like a big box store and get one of those really heavy duty hoses. Now the problem with those is they are so heavy. They're so heavy to drag around the garden, but if that's what you need, then that's what you need. I think the benefit of the hose link is it just makes it super easy just to kind of pull it out, water whatever plants you have to water, or do whatever you have to do with your hose, and then just retract it, and it makes it just 10 times easier. So I know that there are options out there, but they're hard to find in a retractable hose if you want that big heavy duty version. Okay, so here's the 80-footer. We're just gonna put it right on the bracket right there, and then hook. What is this part called? Do you know?
Connector
hose.
Quick connect.
No. That part of the hose.
Oh, this
connects
part of it?
to the bib. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what this is called.
Okay. All right.
The short part of the hose.
Yeah. Okay, Jason's gonna demonstrate. So amazing. Okay, now reel it back up. Perfect! Ta-da! Okay, so we're all done with the stock tanks in the back. That looks so good.
Yeah, those look great.
Don't those look amazing? Shay just popped her head out and said how good they look.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So I got the
okay, got the approval.
Got the approval from Shay. The other thing Shay asked was,
when's breakfast?
When's breakfast? So it's the weekend right now. It's Saturday, and every weekend Jason does
linguiça. It's like the kids' favorite thing. So my family's Portuguese. My dad actually moved to the U.S. when he was like 6 years old. So my family's very Portuguese, and I grew up eating linguiça. And and then I showed it to the girls, and they love it. It's like their favorite breakfast now.
They love it. And it's like a weekend thing that Jason does for them is make them linguiça and eggs and toast, right? And it's
not your favorite.
It's not my favorite, but I'm not Portuguese, right? So it must just be a Portuguese thing. I have a lot of people ask me where our last name is from. Santos, because it's a Filipino last name, it's a Mexican last name, and it's a Portuguese last name. So Jason is Portuguese, very Portuguese.
Yeah, my family's very Portuguese.
Very Portuguese, and passed it along to our daughters. So I'll at least pass the taste buds along to our daughters. Yeah. So anyway, he's off to do that. I am probably going to be doing some garden cleanup. I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.